Listen, learn, create your own destiny. Create the life you want. See the future, want the future, have it now. Welcome to the Manifest Change Podcast. And here's your host, Brooklyn Storme.
Good morning, everybody. How are you going? Welcome to another episode in this season that's all about attracting clients. My name is Brooklyn. I teach business owners in Australia and all over the world how to use spiritual tools and techniques as well as the psychological ones to help create the business that feels right for them. And I'm so excited today because we're talking about one of my very favorite subjects, which is knowing your client. And the reason this is one of my very favorite topics is because it was something that I didn't have any understanding of when I first went into business. So I don't know what your journey has been like, but for me, I just fell in love with, let's talk about my second business, manifesting. And I loved it so much. And I was on Facebook all the time just talking about different things to do with things like law of attraction and mindset and motivation and belief systems and limiting beliefs and all that sort of jazz. And I loved it. However, there is a saying that it's only a hobby until you start making money from it, and then it's called a business. And so for me, I was having trouble making money doing the manifesting work initially, and it was because I didn't understand that it was important for me to know who my client was. And so I want to save you a lot of the legwork and a lot of the muck around that I went through and just cut to the chase for you today. So you've probably heard people talking about why it's so important to know your client, but what I can share with you from my experience is that knowing your client is an absolute game changer. And this should have been so obvious to me from my background in psychology, but sometimes we're our own worst enemies and we can't see the forest for the trees. But the reason why is because when you know who your client is, you speak to them on their level. You speak to them in their jargon. You speak to them in their lingo. You understand their mindset and you can zig to their zag. It just makes a conversation flow so easily. We see this in coaching. We see it in counselling. We see it in health coaching, in psychology. If I'm sitting there with a client and the client is presenting in one particular way, maybe they're very casual and they're very loose with their language, then I need to mimic that. I need to also be casual and loose. If they come in and they're very formal and they have clear expectations of wanting a very formal professional service, then I have to deliver a very formal and professional service. Otherwise, the person's not going to come back. I have to match the expectations. I have to zig to that person's zag. If I'm not, then that person's not going to come back. And so this is really important when you're trying to attract your clients, because you have to understand who your client is. And yes, everybody is different, but there'll be a type of client that you're seeking. There'll be a type of client that's seeking you. And this is what we need to nut out together. So by knowing your client, it gives you the opportunity to relate to them on a much deeper level, and it also provides you the opportunities to make your content relevant. All right, they're going to want to know what you've got to say if they're feeling connected with you. And also, it allows you to create offers that mean something to your clients. I mean, if your clients aren't interested in losing 10 kilos in 4 weeks, why would you go to all the drama of putting together a program that was going to teach them how to lose 10 kilos in 4 weeks and not have anybody sign up? Like, it just shows you don't know your clients, and it shows that your clients aren't really connecting with you. So, absolutely, when you know your clients so much better, it allows you to be able to find out what they want and provide services that match that. The sorts of things that people say to me, well, what do I need to know because I haven't done this before? Where do I begin? I would just say begin with the basics. And they're the things like you want to know how old is your client that you want to work with roughly. Maybe they're 30 to 35, maybe they're 30 to 60. It's up to you. Think about who your ideal client is. Are they male? Are they female? Are they a parent or not? Are they married or not? Do they have a health goal that they want to achieve? Do they have a financial goal that they want to achieve? What are their aspirations? What sort of things are keeping these people awake at night? What's keeping them up? What do they invest their money in? Do they love personal development, or do they love playing golf, or do they love going on vacations? Do they save up money to go away? How do they spend holidays? Things like, do they have pets? Do they have a dog? Things like that. That's what you want to understand. A simple way that I like to think of it is, imagine you're having coffee with your ideal client for the very first time. What sort of things are you going to be picking up? What do you want to know? When you first meet someone, what do you ask them? Do you say, you introduce yourself? Hi, I'm Brooklyn. It's so nice to meet you. Thanks so much for joining me for coffee today. I really want to hear all about you. What was it that interested you in meeting up for a coffee? Right? Leave the door open and let them say, well, you know what, Brooklyn, I am just starting a business, or I'm thinking of starting a business, and I'm not quite sure where I'm going to find my clients from. So I thought you might be able to help me with that. Do you have any advice? And I can say, yeah, absolutely. These are the sorts of things that you want to do. And I can have these sorts of conversations. And then what will happen is the clients go away, they implement some of the things, they get a good experience from me. They feel like, or from you, they feel like they've got value out of a conversation that they've had with us. And so now they're starting to connect with us. They're starting to like us. They're starting to believe in what we provide. They're starting to perhaps trust us a little bit. And so what we want to do is nurture and cultivate that. It's no different to nurturing and cultivating a friendship in real life. And then what will happen is, in time, you'll be able to say, well, hey, I know that I've spoken to a bunch of you and you've all had sort of similar issues around knowing who your client would be for your business. So I've put together a workshop. Do you want to come along to the workshop? In it, I'm going to cover A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, and that way you've got a much higher likelihood of these people coming along, because they've already had a sample of what you do, and from that sample they've seen that it works, so they know that what you do is effective, and they're going to be more likely to join you on your journey, right? And I think that that's really, 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 really cool. So anyway, I will leave it there for today, but if you are watching this on YouTube, if you are listening to the podcast, if you're watching this in the Facebook group, then please know that if you're wanting a copy of the client sheet that I use, you're absolutely welcome to grab a copy. It's sent out on Mondays. So each Monday I send an email to the subscribers on that email list, and I send them a free tool or resource that they can use, and it's only available for subscribers. It's not listed anywhere else. So if you want one, send me a message, shoot me an email, or send me a DM with your email address and say you want to be added to the list, and I will add you today. The emails go out at the end of the day. Just before I wrap up though, it might also be helpful for you to, have you heard of a vision board? So you all know what they are. But what about if you created for yourself, just on an A4 piece of paper even, it doesn't have to be fancy, a client storyboard. And maybe you cut out from magazines, you get images from the net, you get words from newspapers or whatever, that all are about your ideal client. Maybe it's got a picture of her doing yoga. Maybe you put a picture of the words financially free. Maybe you put a picture on there of a laptop because she wants to learn how to run an online business. Maybe you put a picture of the Bahamas on there because her aspiration is to make enough money to take her family on a getaway. Maybe you put a picture of her parents on there so that we understand what her story is, like what her money story is perhaps, or something like that. And then this is the super duper tip. What you want to do then is keep that A4 sheet near you and refer to it before you go live in Facebook or on YouTube, before you send out an email, before you write your content, because you want to make sure that she's going to listen to it. So it has to be meaningful to her or to him, whoever your client might be. So, yep, there you go. All right, and then the very last thing is, if you haven't registered yet for the Business Aligned workshops, please do. I'll pop a link in the comments. They're happening in May 2019 for Melbourne and Sydney. June 24 is Brisbane, and then September is Malaysia and Mumbai, India. So it's a big year this year. Don't miss out. The places are absolutely limited. And thank you so much for listening. I'm so grateful for you. I think that you guys are just amazing, and thank you so much for your support. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Take steps now to manifest the life you want by checking out the show notes. If you've loved this episode, leave a review on iTunes. Here's to manifesting change.